Well, thank you all for coming today for this fabulous announcement. Before I get going, I'd like to recognize some people here in the room for us. We have our co-chairs of Canada Basketball, Rob Wright and Wayne Parrish. John Bitove, one of the longtime basketball guys in town who brought the Raptors to here originally, and the World Cup to Toronto back in 1993. So, John, thanks for coming. And Sonny, one of the representatives from a great partner of ours, Dreammaker. Canada Basketball is a national governing body for the sport in Canada, and looks like we're doing a good job of governing, it seems, right now. This has been a fabulous couple weeks, a fabulous spring. The Raptors have won the first NBA championship of its existence and the first outside of the United States. We had a fabulous draft recently where 6 Canadians were drafted and the 7th was already signed. Our underage teams are doing very well. Our under 16 men and women both won the silver medals in the America Championship, so the future is very bright for Canada. And our role at Canada Basketball is to make sure that the sport does well. It excels, that the people playing it have a safe and positive experience, whether or not they wind up in the NBA or the WNBA, that they really have a positive experience and enjoy the sport for a lifelong endeavor. So we're working with partners in all organizations that are involved in basketball, trying to align the sport, making sure that we're all supporting each other and working together to make it the best for our country and for our kids. So that's why this announcement today is very exciting for me, and I'm looking forward to further success for Canada on the world stage. With that, I'll turn it over to Rowan Barrett, who's the general manager of the men's program, and also, I understand, a proud father.
Oh, yeah. This is, thank you, Glenn. This is an exciting day for us here at Canada Basketball as we enter the 2019 World Cup. In 2012, Steve Nash cautioned, right, that it could take us a little bit of time to get to a point where we can compete with the best in the world due to our youth and inexperience. Today, we believe we're more ready than ever to succeed. Our players over the past number of years have really demonstrated their commitment to building a culture of winning. Our youth teams are continuously playing for gold medals. Our senior teams have won medals in the Pan Am Games for the first time ever, in the Commonwealth Games most recently, and then just this year winning our region in the FIBA qualification to get into the World Cup. So we believe that through that, it's put us in a position now to achieve our next goal of arriving on the podium. So where we are today, though, is a tribute to those that came before me. And I'd like to now acknowledge the contributions of Steve Nash, who was a major force, right, in establishing a structure for us and a blueprint for future success. I'd also like to acknowledge Jay Triano, tremendous leader for us, and tremendous sacrifice that he's made for his country over the past 40 years. In addition, I'd also like to acknowledge our leadership. Too many names maybe to share. Obviously, Wayne and Rob Wright, and formerly, Michelle O'Keefe, and on that have done a phenomenal job in helping to poise us. And now with Glenn in tow to poise us for this moment. Our goal for the World Cup is nothing less than to qualify for the 2020 Olympic Games. The position we're in today is a result of the great efforts and sacrifices of our players on the front lines. This includes our NBA players, those playing professionally here and abroad, our youth sport players, as well as our NCAA players. As a result, we have the opportunity to put one of the most talented teams on the floor this summer that Canada has ever produced. And through that, obviously, we're expecting great success. Glen Grunwald and I established a dynamic advisory coach selection group composed of Steve Konchalski, Maurizio Giardini, and David Blatt. The process of coach selection was broad, exhaustive, and thorough. Our search was worldwide. We were looking for a coach with great leadership ability, experience in international FIBA play, experience in the NBA, with a demonstrated ability in leading championship teams. Our search has led us to someone that has met all the aforementioned criteria. We have a coach that has a tremendous track record of winning in professional leagues in FIBA, in the NBA in the D-League, and then now in the NBA, a championship with our Toronto Raptors, which in the eyes of Canadians has made him an honorary Canadian and guitar player extraordinaire. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the new coach of our senior men's national team, Nick Nurse.
Morning, everybody. How we doing? I'll start with an opening comment. I just, first of all, truly honored to be sitting here in this position. I really am. It's obviously the last couple months have been very humbling and really amazing to see the country and the city and everybody get excited about basketball in this country. And, you know, for me personally, it's a bit of a selfish move because a lot of you know I was with the Great Britain team in the 2012 Olympics as an assistant coach, and thought the years leading up to that were some of the most valuable in my own learning experience and growth as a coach. So I'm hoping to continue that. The World Cup is an unbelievable competition. Great teams and coaches and scouting and work and preparation that would make anyone better going through that. So I'm extremely excited and honored and humble to be here. And with that, I'll open it up to questions. Yeah. Hi, Michael. Good. Yeah, I mean the timeline's a little hazy for me right now, Michael. It was back, you know, even I think before the playoffs had started when I started considering it, and I thought there was a bunch of pieces that had to line up for it to even be possible, and they all just lined up really quickly. Right? Just one, was there any interest on their part? Two, would Masai and Bobby, and would it be okay with the Raptors? Three, would it fit in timeline-wise without any you know, serious ramifications to the Raptors? Let's see, what else was there? Well, three, there was, did I want to give up my summer vacation to do it? And then obviously, you know, my wife and family had to support the thing as well. And I was probably at about 65%, and my wife said, 100% you take that job. So here I am. I can't remember. I think we both called each other at the same time, Michael.
You've mentioned a few times that the job with Great Britain, you felt there was an exceptional period of growth for you.
Yeah.
What about the FIBA system and World Cup or Olympics does encourage that from a coach's perspective?
Well, I think, you know, a couple things, Eric. I think that you're obviously playing world-class competition. And the greatest players in the world are all assembled for their countries, and they're playing their guts out with tremendous pride. The coaches are fantastic. The preparation that goes into watching all those teams, getting ready for them, and trying to figure out a way to go get them. You know, that's just it's high-level competition, you know, at its highest. And I think anytime you can put yourself in those situations, you're gonna thrive a little bit and improve. I think it's intriguing for me to get to see players from all over the world. I think you get to know guys you maybe haven't seen before, and you know, guys will circle back around you. I mean, you know, I was coached against Marc Gasol many times, Great Britain. Now here he is, you know, playing for us. And coached against Jonas many times, and here we go throwing it up against him in our first game, and you know, just interesting things like that. That again, it's a very wide world of basketball when you're talking about the World Cup. Yet it's pretty small. There's a lot of circles you kind of go over and over again.
Nick, when you took the job with the Raptors, you talked about how your experience, particularly in the D-League, of constant roster turnover, helped prepare you for that challenge. How much of an asset do you think that'll be for this challenge, given how much turnover there is from event to event, summer to summer?
Yeah, I mean, I think it always helps you on any level, Josh, because of you just don't know sometimes of commitments or injuries or whatever, what you're going to walk out there with each and every night, or what you're going to face each and every night. So you kind of, you know, like I always say, they're going to put 5 out there and we're going to put 5 out there, and we may not know who those are until we get there. But, you know, if we have to break the huddle and say, I got him, I got him, I got him, that's what we'll do. But we'll be ready to go and attack it. But I think the being with Great Britain will be super valuable too, because we went through every summer, you know, a training camp and a selection process and a series of friendly games and a rhythm of trying to figure out how guys would be both mentally and physically in peak shape hitting the competition. So that selection process and that rhythm and stuff, that's valuable to have been through that. You know, I think it was 4 summers for sure, maybe 5 as we led up to the Olympics, and that'll certainly help us going forward.
How long is the commitment for this league pass that you're taking?
I don't know, Rowan, what is it for? Till the Olympics? Yeah, through the Olympics.
Sorry, to 2020?
Yes.
Can you elaborate a bit more on where basketball is at in Canada right now? You're just saying how exciting it's been
Yeah,
the last few weeks
yeah.
to see the whole country get behind the Raptors. But just in general, you've been in Toronto a few years now. How have you seen things change, maybe or not, in terms of where the sport
Yeah.
is at in our country right now?
Yeah. I think first and foremost, what really matters is that the talent level seems to be rising and growing. Right, the number of people playing, the number of talented people that are taking their game to an elite level, seems to be, man, just off the charts. And I think, I'm not in the circles of college recruiting or any of that kind of stuff very much, considering my job, but I just know there's a heck of a lot of coaches in town, a lot from the States looking for, they're coming here and they make comments, about the incredible talent base that's here in Toronto and in Canada. So I think that's first and foremost. And obviously, the growth of the game as far as people just, in this last couple months, I think there's a lot of new fans that were watching each and every game and every second of them, and grew their knowledge and appreciation for the game. And I think that only helps us down the road. And I think, geez, we'll wait 5 or 10 years from now, all the kids that are out there playing probably as we speak this morning, because of what Kawhi and Kyle and all those Raptor guys did in the last run here, will have a big impact down the road.
And keep us like, how are you doing? Have you slept? Have you
How am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been the hardest week of the season this last week, but super enjoyable as well. The parade was something else, and the Saturday night thing was exactly like the parade, except for 5 hours shorter.
This question might be for both of you.
Oops, sorry.
Drew Banks, On Point Basketball. Rowan, you've been there for a while, obviously played for the national team. Back in the day, it was hard to get NBA players to play for the national team. Are you guys thinking ahead of down the line? It's going to be a time probably soon where you guys are going to have to cut NBA players. So I'd like to have both of your takes, Rowan, you being there, and then Coach Nurse as well.
Well, I think that's already happened. That started happening to us last summer. It's never easy, especially with some of these athletes that you've had, from the youth ages, right? They came in, some of them at 16, 17 years old as little boys, and to have to move them aside for someone else that takes that spot is never an easy thing. But at the same time, this is a competitive thing, and so You might be out 1 year, you might be back in the next year, and somebody might be hurt, you might be healthy. It's just all a part of it. I think it's good though. I think if you're moving on towards trying to be a champion, this is kind of what it takes. There is a little bit of attrition there, right? It's a competitive space. It's sports, and so that's going to be a part of it. I think our guys understand that, and for us, it's important that we handle that with the utmost respect and care for our athletes.
In terms of assembling that talent, are you able to make phone, like, to what extent are you able to make phone calls considering your ties with the Raptors to NBA players? For tampering.
It's a really good question. We're going to cover that in the post-press conference meeting, Eric.
We won't have any problems with that as our head coach.
Go ahead.
Question with regards to coaching. Who will comprise of the assistants?
We're working on putting that together right now. In fact, that'll be our first job here after we leave this press conference is to get that firmed up. But I would say this: I'm looking to put a world-class staff together. Right? I think these players, this competition requires one. I think these players deserve one, and we're going to try to get the highest caliber guys. And as you know, it's a scheduling thing sometimes with guys that are working and have jobs. But that's my first thought is let's get the best world-class team we can put together.
For Rowan, did you guys always go into this, thinking that you just wanted to find the best coach available no matter what, or initially did you prefer that it was a Canadian? Did your mind change at all over the process with that?
Well, I'm happy we have an honorary Canadian with us now. That's for sure. I think you're always looking for excellence, regardless of where that comes from in the world. We needed the best person in place to help lead our team to where we want to go. And what happened as we went through this process is that the amount of people that reached out around the globe, whether it was NBA coaches, whether it was coaches coaching in the EuroLeague, I mean, they were coming from everywhere that wanted in on this opportunity. I think that they are as excited maybe as some of us are here in Canada about the opportunity. So excellence, I think, is the answer.
Rowan, with regards to the anticipation of who is going to be the head coach, and that stretch of time around March, April, everybody was wondering what's going to happen. Have you spoken with Roy Rana and Dave Smart, or conferred with them about what the next steps are as far as naming a head coach?
Of course. I mean, all the coaches that we had under consideration, we made sure that we spoke to. But as I said, as this process went on, it grew. And with the coaches kind of reaching out and wanting to be a part of it, it forced us to extend our window, right? It forced us to extend to make sure that we have the best coach and the right coach in place. We were not going to shortcut this process. If it was painstaking, if it took more time, everyone would just have to wait. At the end of the day, we need to make sure that we have the right person in place, and we're happy we believe we have that now.
One question for Nick. During the finals, you've told us numerous times that you're taking it game by game. Is that the mindset you're going in with this mission?
Yeah, I think you gotta at first in these stages here, we gotta look at where we're trying to get to in the end, right? We gotta have a vision of where we want to get to, right? And obviously qualifying the Olympics is probably the first big step, but then you got to maybe even look beyond that. And once you do that, you got to formulate a plan on how you're going to get there and share that to the players, with the staff, with everybody that's involved with the team. And it's everybody that needs to get on that same train that we're riding towards where we're going. And then you got to kind of break it down, and it's the same. It's like you said, each game's critical. Like each game and each score of the game in these competitions is critical, because that sometimes can determine whether you're advancing or not. So then you gotta attack it like that, and put all your energies and thoughts and focuses into getting that first win, and then going from there. It'll be a growth process, though, right? We gotta grow early. Learn what we can from the early friendly games, the training camp, then, trying to build some chemistry and some toughness and some togetherness that we're going to need to have, and then see where it needs to go from there once we see the ball go up a couple times.
Nick, can you just run through the process of what you're going to try to do to make this team gel together, and just what that process will be like for you from here moving into 2020?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, similar to the thing I just mentioned, first of all, we've got to get our staff assembled. Then we got to reach out to our players. And then we got to share with them what our dreams are, our vision, our goals are, and get some communication about whether they're on board with that, right? Because this is a big commitment for these guys. It's a tremendous honor at the same time, but we're gonna need buy-in for that. And then it's like any other team, man. You're trying to get a group of guys to wholeheartedly believe in what you're doing and where you're going, and give everything they got in that window towards reaching those goals. Some great chemistry, some unselfishness, and a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride involved in these type of situations, and just try to bring all that out of them and take them someplace that we all know we'd like to go.
One thing with the Raptors team was that there were so many fresh faces that had to get to know each other in such a short amount of time and gel together in such a short amount of time. Will you be using a little bit of what you did there to make this group of players sort of gel together when they're just sort of playing together for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd imagine so, right? I've got to do my thing and be myself and use what I've done. I always say I'm always experimenting, and I'm keeping the things that work and throwing out the things that don't. And it's a short window. We're gonna have to get to know each other quickly. And again, I think some of my jobs, like especially in the minor leagues, where you'd get a week training camp and the regular season would start, and you have to be ready to go, or 4 guys would change one night and you got to play 48 hours later with virtually a new team. So defensive and offensive system that is easy enough to understand quickly and implement and grow as we go. You kind of get in there and build some foundational things really quickly that we want to be about defensively and offensively, and then as they can add things and grow, we'll grow it as much as we can, but give them a solid base and expand it from there.
Last question.
Nick, when you look at the pool of players,
Yep.
depending on who's committed or not, what do you think the strengths of the roster could be?
Well, I think there's a lot of talent there, Michael. That's the big thing across the board positionally, right? And I think one of the challenges that we're going to have is we're going to have to make sure we piece it together right, and that it comes together with some guys that are we're going to need scorers, we're going to need role players, we're going to need defenders, we're going to need rebounders, shot blockers. We got to find it and piece it together so we can be versatile. I think again with maybe comparing it to the Raptors, there was one series where we were playing big, and the next series we were playing small, depending on what one part of the game you're big, and I hope we have some of that flexibility and versatility. And my initial instincts, by looking at it on paper and coaching against all these guys, is that we will, and then it's up to us to get those guys, the right guys, selected, and then it'll be on me and my assistants to get the right guys on the floor when the game's going on.
Thanks, guys. Can you quickly comment on Yahoo Sports report about Kawhi considering re-signing with the Raptors? We're focusing on Team Canada
That's
today,
it.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're gonna do a quick photo op.